Good, happy Friday morning, October 11, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, explosive materials, suspicious-looking devices removed from Hinsdale home, officials say. New homeowner calls police after finding items. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Customers will call in or email in and just tell us that I was at the store, and from the beginning of the sale till the delivery, it was a great experience. And as a business owner, that's what we strive for.
Visit us at powellstone.com.
The call came in at about 11:15 this morning. A person who recently bought this house on Indian Acres Drive found some suspicious-looking items while doing renovation. As a precaution, about 20 homes were evacuated, and a nearby school was told to keep their students inside the building.
They've taken multiple items out of the home, and this is a recovery incident. There is no criminal aspect. The previous homeowner is now deceased, so at this point there's no criminal investigation. It is just a recovery from items that were left there.
The state police bomb squad was called in. Officials say about 15 items were found that looked like explosive devices, but were not. They did, however, find some explosive material that had to be removed.
And there are some items in there that they are going to have to dispose of, and they're unlawful items. So they're going to be taking a lot of items out of the home and disposing of them. But they've been able to render everything that was potentially dangerous safe.
Melissa Monica says she was told to evacuate. She's lived across the street from the previous owner for almost 20 years.
He was a bit of a recluse. We moved here around 1995. The lawn, the trees, everything were absolutely overgrown.
The state police say that this whole incident was handled well from start to finish, and because of that, there were no injuries. Reporting live, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence honors Concord student for her bravery. Student punished by administrative at first for spreading rumors has since been praised for speaking out. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
When family and friends come together on a beautiful day, what better place to be than in your own backyard?
I'm here because survivors should not be the only ones speaking up and stepping out.
Concord High senior Anna Goebel chosen as keynote speaker by the New Hampshire Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. 4 years ago, as a 7th grader, she was suspended, accused of spreading rumors after speaking up about a popular teacher's alleged inappropriate behavior.
It's incumbent upon us as adults to listen and to act, and in this case, that didn't happen.
I was punished for trying to speak up for a victim who couldn't speak up for themselves.
Earlier this year, Primo Howie Leung was charged with sexually assaulting a student at a camp in Massachusetts. He's pleaded not guilty.
I just felt like something wasn't right. Like my stomach hurt whenever I saw Leung interacting with certain students, and I just knew I had to say something.
The principal who suspended Goebel and superintendent are now on paid administrative leave. Goebel says she feels supported at school and says there has been a positive shift in how people talk about sexual assault in her community. She's never regretted following her gut and urges others to be brave and speak up for themselves and others.
I can tell you that speaking up is worth it. Standing up for others is worth it. Doing all you can to make sure no other child is victimized is worth it. Showing up and holding others accountable so no one else is hurt, that is worth it.
The coalition also honored Stratford County Attorney Tom Velarde, who's described as a champion for victims, and the General Federation of Women's Club for going above and beyond to stand with survivors. In Manchester, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Yang, Gabbard, Bullock, and Seastack campaigning in New Hampshire Thursday. All four made efforts to engage voters on a wide range of issues. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
We feel that if a customer wants their product and they're ambitious and they want to do it today, if we have it here in stock, we have the people, the trucking, and why put off till tomorrow what you can do today?
Visit us at powellstone.com.
With just about 4 months to go until the first in the nation primary, candidates are hitting the campaign trail in New Hampshire, jockeying for position.
Steve Bullock in Manchester tonight for a Democracy Town Hall, talking about Citizens United, which he says has been the fight of his career.
So we want to make sure that people know that elections are about their voice, not corporate dollars or dark money spending.
The Montana governor wasn't for the impeachment inquiry into President Trump at first, but says the call with Ukraine changed his mind.
Forget how the politics might shake out of this. For this idea of the preservation of our representative democracy, we need to move forward on it.
At the Coos County Democrats' Harry Truman dinner, businessman Andrew Yang said this about the president's decision to withdraw troops from northern Syria.
If we make any kind of move, it would be in consultation with our allies, and it would not be an abrupt pull the rug out from under people type move that people felt came out of nowhere. To me, that's what President Trump did.
Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard says she might boycott next week's Democratic debate in Ohio, saying the process is rigged.
The DNC and the corporate media partners are arbitrarily determining which candidates get to be heard by voters on those debate stages and which ones are completely shut out of the process, telling voters, no, you don't get to hear from those guys.
Retired Navy Admiral Joe Sestak spoke about the need to unify.
America's greatest power is not its military, it's not its economy, it's our power to convene, to bring together the nations, people of the world for a common cause that serves us all.
All four of these candidates will be back in New Hampshire campaigning across the state tomorrow. In Manchester, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge denies bid for new trial in Rwanda case. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Wentworth Douglas Hospital, community is at the heart of everything we do. That's why we're expanding our...
Well, tonight, a woman who was convicted for lying about her role in the 1994 Rwanda genocide will not get a new trial. Beatriz Munyenyezi is serving a 10-year sentence for lying while applying to become a U.S. citizen. She alleged that the jury received inaccurate instructions on her criminal liability. A judge denied her request, saying that even if the instructions fell short, the error was harmless beyond a reasonable doubt. Munyenyezi faces deportation once she completes her sentence.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester man accused of seriously injuring 3-month-old boy. Baby taken to hospital with bleeding in brain, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jean Mackin.
We feel that if a customer wants their product and they're ambitious and they want to do it today, if we have it here in stock, we have the people, the trucking, and why put off till tomorrow what you can do today?
Visit us at powellstone.com.
Monica, and this investigation started back in June when the man taking care of that baby called 911, and tonight police here are confident he hurt the infant. 25-year-old Michael Roberson is now charged with first-degree assault for allegedly injuring a 3-month-old infant on June 30th. Manchester police say he alone was taking care of the baby boy when he called 911, reporting the baby had a seizure. The baby was rushed to Elliott Hospital in Manchester, where police say an examination showed signs of trauma.
It was very clear that the child had some trauma to the head as well as a brain bleed. So, of course, Manchester police started an investigation immediately.
After conducting interviews and reviewing medical records, police say they concluded the injuries were not accidental and arrested Roberson, accusing him of assault. Police say the baby is now in the care of his family.
The good news is the child is doing well. There's no one can tell for sure if there's any permanent injury that will continue to manifest as time goes on, but as of right now, the child is doing much better than they were back at the end of June.
And tonight, Michael Roberson is being held in custody. He is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. Live in Manchester, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. James Foley's mother hopes U.S. prosecutes militants after transfer of custody. The mother of a journalist from New Hampshire killed by the Islamic State said Thursday that she is hopeful the transfer to U.S. custody of 2 British militants brings them a step closer to criminal charges. Diane Foley of Rochester told the Associated Press that she would like to see the men prosecuted in the United States for their involvement with the Islamic State cell that killed Western hostages, including her son James, a journalist who was beheaded in Syria in August of 2014. UNH brewers use leftover dining hall bread to make beer. Brewing program makes different batches of beer each month. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
We feel that if a customer wants their product and they're ambitious and they want to do it today, if we have it here in stock, we have the people, the trucking, and why put off till tomorrow what you can do today?
Visit us at powellstone.com.
The science of beer is a serious minor at UNH, at least as serious as beer can be.
There's lots of really cool opportunities to reuse sort of ingredients in the brewing process.
The latest batch from the UNH Brewing Lab, seriously sustainable. Harvest Time Brown Ale, mixing thyme grown on campus with leftover bread from the dining hall that would otherwise be composted.
When we brew beer, we're using grain, and bread is this grain. It's just been more refined.
Now, in its third year, the program brews up about 2 different 40-gallon batches of some creative beer each month. This, the latest.
It was really fun to see the bread like within the wort and just see the differences. Like it produced more sugar than we thought it would.
It was kind of an unknown how it was going to turn out because there was, rye bread and there was caraway seeds in there and white bread and sourdough bread. So we were really unsure until the final product came out. It ended up coming out delicious.
Other colleges and universities have similar programs and they brew beer, but UNH has the first federally licensed brewery that actually sells the beer it makes.
It goes to local restaurants, and we sell it in-house here. We sell growlers out of the brewery about once a month.
Except Harvest Time, it's going back to the dining hall to use in recipes for the harvest dinner next week. But they hope to brew it again. In Durham, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very cool indeed. Sounds like a fun program there at UNH. And now let's take a look at your 2020 New Hampshire candidate tracker for today. And let's see what 2 candidates are in New Hampshire today. There will be only 2 candidates that will be in New Hampshire today. Governor Steve Bullock speaking at the Politics and Eggs series at the Doubletree by Hilton, Manchester downtown in Manchester, New Hampshire at 8 o'clock a.m. today. And Joe Seastack Town Hall in Breckenwood, New Hampshire at 6 p.m. this evening. Stocks features rise after optimistic Trump comments on U.S.-China trade. U.S. stock futures were higher Friday morning after President Donald Trump issued positive remarks on the U.S.-China trade talks. California without power to reduce wildfire risk. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Unprecedented situation in California. Hundreds of thousands waking up in the dark again this morning.
Take a look at these preventative outages, shutting down stores, even traffic lights are going dark. Those outages, it's a brand new strategy to prevent a major wildfire. And Will Carr starts us off in San Francisco with the latest. Good morning, Will.
And Michael, those Diablo winds have really picked up overnight. That's why they've shut the power off. But here at PG&E headquarters, they've actually had to set up these barriers because they say there is so much frustration over all of this. They're worried about the safety of their employees as a large swath of this region remains without power. Overnight, that cloak of darkness expanding across Northern California with traffic lights out, cars crashing. In San Jose, officials declaring a state of emergency.
We took this step to ensure the safety of our customers and our communities as a last resort. This is not a decision that we take lightly.
With hundreds of thousands now without power, officials say the historic outage could last for days. Many waiting in long lines just to get gas.
PG in general should have taken care of this for the last 50 years. If they had taken care of this in the last 50 years, we wouldn't be having this now.
I think they jumped the gun, in my opinion. Turning it off is good, but wait till it's dangerous.
Even the governor voicing his frustration.
I'm outraged because it didn't need to happen. They're in bankruptcy because of their terrible management going back decades. They've created these conditions.
After PG&E was found responsible for dozens of wildfires, including the deadliest ever last year,
the bankrupt utility company decided to proactively shut off the power to try to prevent the next fire. But that's impacted businesses across the region.
I cannot put the chair up or down.
Including this dentist office in Sausalito.
All of the computers are down, the phone is down, everything that we need to have a functioning office.
Some schools canceled, others have their students working without electricity. To add to the frustration, the PG&E website crashed Wednesday, leaving many residents in the dark as they try to figure out exactly how long the outage will last.
To help, PG&E launched a new website last night. It comes as there is a double fire threat both here in Northern California today and in Southern California, where they could see their own power outages in the coming days. Robin.
Tense situation. All right. Thank you so much, Will.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.